we are back today with the Focus right here, and we are going to do some spark plug and some general maintenance and stuff like that. And probably do the valve cover gasket while we're in there, and obviously give it a good detail. As you can see right there, it's a little dirty, and it's obviously got indications that the valve cover is going bad. So, well, the gasket anyways. So we're going to go ahead and get that done today in this part of the video, and just kind of work on the mechanical part. General tune-up type things, and we're probably going to replace this lifetime air filter as well. We're going to rig up a cold air intake, so that'll be kind of cool. A few people do that on these older Focuses, because the filter that is actually in here, you would think it's in this box right here. It's really not. It's in the fender down here, and that's a $200 part from Ford. And again, it's a lifetime filter, and there's a reason people do not do lifetime filters on cars. So with all of that being said, we're going to jump right into this, and we're going to do one thing or the other first, but probably going to check the plugs on it and then go to the store, get the valve cover gasket, and probably a set of plugs because it's a 4-cylinder and they're cheap, and why not? So it can't do nothing but good. So we're going to go ahead and get started here, guys. So to get the plug off, first of all, we're going to have to take this little clip off right here. So it's super easy to do. On these older Fords, they actually do break and crack. I know on the V6. Duratec platforms, those particular parts, they do tend to break. We do have an 8mm right here holding the coil on, and that is very tight. So it's one of two things: somebody just did these and over torqued them, or they are glued on from the factory. So I'll be back with a breaker bar real fast on that thing. Definitely was not asking. Broke out the torque. So, yeah, she's she's a little drippy. So that's definitely gonna call for a valve cover. Oh yeah, she's a good bit soaked down there. So we will put these up here. Wow. Okay, I have no idea how this thing isn't smoking. So we're gonna try these coils out here. So I might as well just get a rag, because all these coils they look pretty fouled. I don't see why they're not gonna work though, obviously. So they are. I think they're Motorcraft as well, but we're not going to know until we get the plugs out. So I'm going to pull this one, we're just going to line them up right over there. So generally on these, usually the first one's pretty bad, and then the rest of them are, as you go down the line, they dry up. So we will see how these ones look. Yeah, so they're getting a little more dry, but obviously those gaskets are dried out. So okay. Made a liar out of me, so yeah, that one's blasted. So just gonna wipe that off there. As you can see, like all of that residual oil just sitting down there in the plug. And then these ones are pretty caked with oil as well. So wipe them off, and as they sit on the cowl up here, they are just draining oil. So I'm gonna move these. Actually, I need to keep them in order. I'm sure they're all the same, but take you off this little ghetto setup I have here temporarily. So checking it out, as you can see right there, look at how wet all of that is. It's wet. So we're gonna be back here. We're gonna take these off, this valve cover gasket. Not as clean as the old Z-Tech engines. There's a lot more wire spaghetti going on here. So nothing we can't handle. Still relatively simple to work on. So we're gonna got all the clips off of this valve cover here, and it was quite evident that these are all factory placed. So they really never did any type of valve cover maintenance on this thing. So yeah, I just unplugged all these fuel injector sensors and a few little safety clips, and we're gonna try to get this off here. Looks like there's maybe another PCV right here we gotta take care of. So They are all 8 mils, which is a good thing, and obviously Ford, you can't see, but they just made the longest little studs on these bolts. It makes no sense, so thank God I had the right extension. I had to be over here all day trying to get these things off with a wrench. So go around here. This is something like 12 or 13. I'm pretty tight. Well, we are breaking the factory seal off. I do to remember that. So. Another factory clip. So I ended up finally getting the valve cover off, and it just was like, this has never happened before. So I got all the bolts off, everything needed, I got all the proper things removed. It just happened to be that this valve cover gasket is every bit of 13 years old, or whenever '07 was. So it was definitely glued to the cylinder head, as you can see. But yeah, so all the gaskets around the coils are dried out and hard. I mean, you can even just, I don't think these bolts are gonna fall out, but you can hear it right here. This thing is hard. I mean, it's just so stiff. So you can see there, it's so satisfying to do. Well, I'll do this when I have 2 hands. So yeah, but over here looking at the lobes here on the cams, they look super good, no type of wear. And so I guess whoever did this or owned this vehicle did somewhat regular oil changes, you know. It's a little brown on this side, but overall, it looks pretty dang good for a Duratec, and I definitely think there's some good life in this. So everything does look very nice. So probably be back with me tomorrow with some new spark plugs and obviously a new gasket here. I just ran out of time, so yeah, we're gonna get it done here though. Got the gasket off here, and we're getting it all soaked down here with super clean. Stuff works amazing. So definitely the best degreaser I've used, but I'll let it sit here and soak. I'm gonna spray it off, and it should literally be good as new. So valve cover gasket's over there soaking after we just rinse it off. I'm gonna go over it one more time. I'm just gonna keep that out of the video. I'm getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, so we're gonna just cut it right here. I'll be back tomorrow, and we're gonna go ahead and get this all buttoned up, and maybe just do a quick engine detail. Really, at this point, the valve cover was the worst thing under here. It's pretty clean otherwise, so we'll be right back with the rest of it. So we just left the parts store right here. We got everything we need to put together our makeshift air intake system right here, spark plugs, and we got the valve cover gasket, which is a nice Velcro, and also just got a can of seafoam. Why not, as we're going full force this thing as far as the tune-up goes. So we're gonna put all this together here. So we went to the store earlier today, and we pretty much got the stuff we needed to do the full tune-up on the Focus as far as the spark plugs go. We also got the valve cover gaskets, nice Velcro. Those are always pretty good. And then we got the concoction to build our makeshift air filter again, because this thing has about 120,000 miles worth of single-use air filter. So we're gonna go ahead here and start on the spark plugs. As you saw earlier, we did get these Motorcraft plugs right here. These are, I believe, platinum plugs. So anyhow, the maintenance interval on the plugs that are in here right now are about 100,000 mile plugs. So I guess, you know, it's a little overdue. So, but obviously it's not gonna hurt. So yeah, let's stick the plug. Okay, so yeah, that whole cylinder is destroyed, where that plug is at. So I'm gonna, oh boy, so I'm gonna try to get something to soak this up. These things are blasted. Whoa, if you can see that, those are all full of oil. Obviously, they're not supposed to be like that, so I'm going to try to soak that up here. Definitely wasn't really expecting that, and that one's just full. So oh my god. So that spark plug's all full there, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to soak this all up. Hopefully I have enough rags to do so. I basically got as much of that oil out as we could, so we're gonna try out, we're gonna pull this plug out and see what it does. I guess whatever falls in there is gonna probably, hopefully all burn off. So I've never seen a cylinder or a spark plug full of oil this bad. I think 1 and 4 were the worst, so 2 in the center weren't all that bad. So you see that plug right there. This looks to be like a Ford part number, so I definitely say they're original. But as you can see right there, the electrode looks decently well actually, but you know, they're worn out, they're old plugs, so we're gonna go ahead and put the new ones in. I'm not even gonna try to put a rag back in there. I don't wanna get any debris loose down there anymore than that's already down there. So I'm just gonna drop this new one in, but for a quick comparison, we'll just kind of show you the two. So old and new. This one's a Motorcraft, obviously. There's no Motorcraft on here, but apparently this is what they used back in the day. So as you guys saw in that time lapse, if you feel like pausing any way through that, you'll see that the plugs I took out were just soaked, covered in grime and everything. They were still firing. The car drove totally fine. But I have no idea how it was, because one of the plugs was hardly even screwed in. But here's our gasket, or our valve cover. We're going to go pop our gasket in it. So as you can see right there, we're going to do the Velcro right there. Probably stick it in here. It's dry enough. Looks like there's some possible rust in there from maybe engine shavings, but it's gonna go stick it in there. I'm not gonna worry about this brown discoloration in the valve cover itself. I'm gonna run a can of seafoam through it when we're done with it all and do an oil change on it, so that should all go away. So put that on. You can see nice and flappy, like it should be, not all stiff. Definitely put money on that last one being from the factory. So, see, there's about 4 gaskets in total. See, just you pop them on. Let's see, they're all specific to each part there. Obviously, we got a little bolt cut out right there. And these are nice because they have little teeth on the side that'll kind of grip it inside the channel there. So we're not gonna have to worry about these falling out when we go to put it back in. Obviously we have all those wires to kind of navigate through. I know on a few older vehicles that I had at one point, this technology or this stuff wasn't around. So this looks like maybe it's a new design, possibly. It's appreciated. So as you see, those brand new Gaskets go in there real nice. They don't pop out or anything. So Velcro makes good stuff here, so very accurate. Touches on it now, so everything went together decently well. So we will find out if we have any leaks. I know a lot of these bolts that hold the valve cover on, they're all different sizes, so I think I got them all right though. I don't think there's a way to mess it up. So things will match together, and if these all go on, it's a few more clips to go, and hopefully we'll be ready to start it up and see what it does. It's probably really not going to sound a whole lot different, but it's extremely satisfying to start a car up after you do the little tune-up things to it. So I do know there's over a half tank of gas in it, so I don't want to do the seafoam quite yet. I know it's definitely fine to do it, but I always wait. I don't care what size the tank is. I always do the seafoam when the car is under a quarter of a tank, just to get more of that seafoam mixture going through your injectors and all that stuff. I plugged all that in. I'll plug the injectors back in. This always freaks me out on working on these older cars. All these plugs, all these insanely vital plugs not going back in. Put the factory stud holders back in there. Looks like it's. I'll put that back there. There. Looks like we were never here, except for whatever this is. I don't know if this came off recently. It's a ground of something. So we'll find out if we have some sort of engine light or misfire or something. So obviously the oil cap, will throw that back on. And this little bolt right here that held this bracket in, for whatever reason it did nothing, but I'll put it back in its place. I think that's the yeah. Yep. All right. Gonna go ahead and give it a start up here. Before we do anything else, the engine bay looks pretty good after that valve cover, so I'm gonna go ahead and touch this up, and we're gonna hit this rail right here. Obviously, no one's really gonna take a second look at anything like this, but we're in here, we're getting dirty, we may as well make it look a little bit nicer. Obviously not going to be perfect, but a lot better than it was. And just that rail, look at that rail right there. Looks so much better. Usually a lot of the rings on these gaskets go bad, which is more than likely the case on this one. But now that it's clean, we'll keep an eye on it, and if it gets any worse, then we'll get a new one. But all right, so now we're left with a recently tuned up Duratec and somewhat semi-detailed. So we're gonna take the key over here, start it up, do a first startup. The car's been sitting probably close to a week now, but I don't see why it won't start. Interior, really haven't sat in it after the detail, but there's the steering wheel. It looks brand new after we scrubbed it there. Looks pretty damn good. So With all that oil burning off the cylinders there. Making quite a smoke cloud there. There we go. It's all burning off. Garage is ruined now, but sounds like we might have a bearing of some sort going bad up front, but there it is. Running probably as good as it's ever going to run until we do the seafoam treatment to it now. So guys, that's going to be the end of this video. It's probably gone on long enough, but in the next one we're going to do the air intake mod. So as usual guys, thank you for watching and we'll talk to y'all later.